really wasn't looking for trouble that day I rode into New Canaan. But as usual, trouble was looking for me.
Told you I won't have no fighting in my place, and I mean it. Now get going and don't come back till you sober up. What's the matter with you?
Well, somebody just hit me in the stomach with a man, and I think it was you.
Well, I sure didn't aim to. Come on inside and I'll buy you a beer.
Tastes good on a hot day.
You bet. This is nice and cold, too. There you are. My name's Bonsell, Jeff Bonsell. I'm the proprietor.
My name's Vint Bonner. I'm just passing through. You haven't got many customers.
They all run out the back door when the ruckus started. But they'll be back after they get through blabbing the newest piece of gossip about Jenny May all over this town.
Jenny May?
I finished the inventory on the whiskey, Mr. Bonsell.
All right, Jenny May. See you tomorrow.
Are you sure you want to see me tomorrow?
Of course I do. 'Twasn't your fault. Now run along. Think no more about it.
Thank you, Jeff.
That's Jenny May. Jenny May McElroy, the Jezebel of New Canaan.
That lady doesn't look like any Jezebel to me.
And that ain't what I think about her either, mister. It's what the good people of New Canaan think about her. Want a job? Could use a man like you. $5 a day and found.
Come again?
You heard me, a job. Working for me.
Job? Doing what?
God, help me keep the peace in this here establishment.
I'm a cowboy, not a bouncer.
You're a bouncer, all right. Fill it up for you. I want a cowhand, or I'd heard on cowhands. The situation around here is getting out of my control.
What situation?
The situation about Jenny May, like I've been trying to tell you.
Look, maybe I ought to go out and come back in again. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you caught on quick enough that she's a lady, a real lady. And through no fault of hers, she's become what you might call a bone of contention around here. Most of the nice people are against her. That is, except Miss Purcell, the new schoolmarm.
What's the contention about?
I eat my meals over at her house mostly. Why don't you come along later tonight for supper? That's the best way to get a real good notion of what's going on around here.
Well, I'm hungry and I could use a meal, but... All right, I'll go with you. But that doesn't mean I'm taking the job.
Something's just got to be done about her.
Look at her walking along carefree. And her husband dead in a gunfight only 2 years.
It's bad enough working in a saloon and her the mother of young children. But she's nothing but trouble where the young men of this town are concerned.
She's not fit to be a mother.
Good afternoon, ladies. I couldn't help but overhear your remarks about Mrs. McElroy. And since her children are my concern, too, and are clean, well-kept, and among the politest children I have in my classes, obviously she is a very good mother.
And do you also teach lessons in eavesdropping at your school, Miss Purcell?
Well, I don't really know how this thing got started, Mr. Bonner. Since you're a friend of Jeff's, I'll be frank with you. After Jim was killed, I didn't really know what to do. There were a lot of men in town that seemed to want to help me. But none of them wanted to give me a job, except Jeff.
Blue-nosed hypocrites, all of them.
Well, Jeff gave me a job keeping books and looking after things. And that way I was able to care for and feed my children.
From what I've heard, you've done a darn good job of it, too.
And I just darn well couldn't get along without her.
Oh, I would have taken a respectable job, Mr. Bonner, if there'd been one. It's no offense to you, but I can't live and raise my children on the basis of what other people think I should do and the way they want me to act. Besides, I didn't really have much choice in the matter.
Good evening, Mr. Bonsell. May we come in, Mama?
Of course, dear. Mr. Bonner, this is Bruce and Gordon and Betty Sue.
Hi, Mr. Bonner. Hi, Mr. Bonner. Hello, Mr. Bonner.
Hello there.
Dorothy noticed that on your face.
I told you she'd notice. It's soap and rice powder to cover up his black eye.
Oh, no, not fighting again.
I had to. Jamie Goodhue said a bad thing. I heard him. He said we were unfortunate children and more to be pitied than scorned. That's when Gordon hit him. Right on the nose. And Jamie Goodhue's 10 years old. Why are we more to be pitied than scorned, Mama?
You're not. But you still mustn't go around fighting all the time.
Jamie said 2 men were fighting about you in Mr. Bonsell's saloon. Today.
Well, that isn't so. There was a fight, all right, but your mama had nothing to do with it.
Now listen, you remember what I've told you. Don't listen to gossip.
We can't go around all the time with our fingers in our ears.
Well, I know that, but you don't have to believe it, do you?
I don't. That's why I hit him.
Well, look, you children run on, get all washed up for dinner and everything. Now, go on.
Is Mr. Bonner staying for supper?
I certainly am, young lady.
You run along now. Go on.
I can rightly say I never figured on taking a job as a bouncer. But it's 10 days till I report to Trails End for roundup, so I'll take the job. As a matter of fact, the idea kind of intrigues me.
Good. Miss Purcell. You don't have to look so scared, ma'am. This here saloon can't bite you.
I'd like to speak to you, Mr. Bonsell.
Oh, that's all right. This is my friend, Vent Bonner. Why don't you come over here and sit down? Tell us about it.
Something's happened, Mr. Bonsell, and, well, I don't know to whom to turn except you. Amy Goodhue has gotten the members of the school board to sign a complaint against Mrs. McElroy. She will introduce that complaint at the Guildhall meeting.
What kind of a complaint?
They will claim that she is an unfit mother and will try to make her children wards of the community.
Well, won't the sheriff have something to say about that?
There ain't no sheriff. He quit 2 months ago. The city council ain't appointed a new one yet.
Well, what's she got against Jenny May? Just because Gordon got in a fight with her kid?
Well, it probably didn't help none that he knocked 2 of the little polecat's teeth out, but that ain't it. Them 2 old hens have been sharpening their claws for a long time.
I'm afraid so. They also plan to give me notice that my services are no longer required.
They can't do that.
Oh, yes, they can. But I mind it a whole lot more that they're trying to take that nice young woman's children away from her.
Well, that's all my fault.
How?
Well, you see, I got a stake in this town. I once got to be president of the school board. That's when I sent for Miss Purcell here to be our new school teacher. Of course, that let out Amy Goodhue's sister, Minnie. She was the old school marm.
Oh, I see.
Oh, no, you don't. Minnie ain't no teacher. She's a fat old parrot. She had them kids all in one room learning everything by heart. No matter how young or how old or how smart or how ignorant, they all had to recite the same things. Now, I ain't got much education, but I ain't stupid. And I can tell you that ain't teaching anything.
Miss Purcell, if you have to leave, how much notice do they have to give you?
Well, it was agreed that I was to have 2 weeks' notice when I took the position.
Suppose you let Jeff and I just chew this over for a while, hmm?
Well, thank you. I certainly hope something can be done, regardless of me. It would be a terrible miscarriage of justice if Mrs. McElroy's children were deprived of their mother.
And the other way around, too.
Bartender!
Bartender! Bartender!
Get back to my classes.
Whiskey!
Those drunks are at it again!
Whiskey! Bartender!
Look, you sit down. Let me start earning my keep.
It's all alike. Whiskey! Bartender! Bartender!
Hello, boys. You gotta stop drinking like this. You'll both be out by noon.
You have the same uncouth manner of my erstwhile enemy, Clayton, here.
You will kindly serve us some whiskey, so I may continue my argument with this here Yankee, and endeavor to prove to him that there never was a northerner who was fit to lick the mud off of General Lee's boots.
That's enough. That's enough. Come here. Now, look, boys. I was hired to keep the peace in the saloon, and I intend to do so. Besides, the war is over.
Were you in it, sir?
I was.
Which side?
It doesn't make any difference which side. Besides, we're all on the same side now.
Not me. I think you'd best stand aside, sir. This here's a private discussion.
You know, we gotta think of something.
Miss Jenny May? For you.
I can't accept those, Mr. Clayton.
Merely a token of my admiration for you, Miss Jenny May. Surely you must know how I feel about you.
I don't know any such thing, Mr. Clayton.
I thought I'd like the pleasure of your company at dinner, ma'am.
I'm having dinner with my children.
Oh, can't they have dinner without you this one time?
Get out of here, Mr. Clayton.
And don't ever come back, you drunken secessionist.
I warned you to stay away from me.
And I warned you to stay away from her.
Jeff, I've got to talk to you.
All right, over this way, Jenny May.
Ben,
What's the trouble?
Gray and Clayton. They had a gunfight on my front porch. They're both hurt.
Did anybody see him?
Oh, I don't know. I hope not.
Well, the first thing we better do is get him off your front porch. But I can't hardly leave here right now.
I'll go.
Maybe you better stay here for the time being.
Well, the children are in the house. I have to go back.
Let's go.
Uh-oh. Looks like we're too late.
Yes.
You better go around back. Come in the rear.
All right.
We'll get him to a doctor, Mayor. One is hurt pretty bad. Take him away, boys.
Well, at least we can get that woman out here and find out what happened.
Seems to me pretty plain what's happened.
Who's that?
My name's Vint Bonner.
What do you know about this?
Nothing. Except those two been drinking and quarreling ever since I got to town.
What are you doing here?
I heard there'd been some trouble. I'm a friend of Mrs. McElroy's.
Appears to me she makes friends mighty easy for a respectable barmaid.
Appears to me you better watch your tongue or you'll lose some teeth.
Now, just a minute, Bonner. I know about you. We don't want any trouble from you. Understand?
Then don't give me any.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here, Mr. Maybank.
Well, young woman, can you tell us what happened?
Well, I don't really know what happened.
They come a-calling on you, didn't they? Brought flowers, didn't they?
She doesn't have to answer any questions from you or anybody else.
Oh, no? Well, there's a law in this land, mister. She'll find out whether or not she has to answer questions. And as for you, Mr. Vint Bonner, you can get out of town and stay out.
I'll get out of town when I'm good and ready.
Come on, Maybank.
Don't you fellers ever go to bed?
How'd it go?
Worse than I thought. The town council's indicting her.
That's ridiculous. Indicting her for what?
They say she ain't fit to be a mother.
She's taking care of her children.
Good care. I'll get the best lawyer in the whole country, by gunnies.
When's the trial set?
This afternoon.
What are you talking about? You can't get a lawyer by this afternoon. Where is the nearest one?
Abilene, over 100 miles. The only lawyer in this town's Mayor Pritchard, and he's doing the prosecuting.
There's only one thing to do. That's ask for a postponement.
How do you do that?
Well, you step up to the judge and you say, Your Honor, the defendant would like to request a postponement so she can have time to get herself a lawyer. That's her constitutional right.
Well, you talk as good as any lawyer I ever heard. Why don't you be her lawyer?
'Cause I'm not a lawyer, that's why.
Well, how come you know so much about law if you ain't a lawyer?
I worked for the U.S. Marshal a couple of times, and I've been in court a couple of times, but it doesn't make me a lawyer or anything near one.
Okay, don't get mad. But you'll have to be the one that asked the judge for that, whatever you call it. I'd never remember to say Your Honor and all that. I'd probably get mad and bust him in the nose.
You can't bust the judge in the nose.
Who can't?
Look, when he's up on that bench, he's got the whole United States government backing him up.
Seems a little one-sided to me.
Well, it can be sometimes, but that's the way it is.
This court is now in session. Jenny Mae McElroy, will you stand before the court? You are charged with failing to provide a proper home for your 3 children. How do you plead?
Not guilty.
Are you represented by an attorney?
I am not.
May it please the court.
Yes, who are you?
My name is Vint Bonner, sir. The defendant would like to get a postponement so that she can have time to get a lawyer.
I object, Your Honor.
On what grounds?
On the grounds that the evidence against this woman is complete and incontrovertible.
You're out of order at this time. Your grounds are inadequate, Mr. Pritchard. How much time does the defendant require?
Well, I guess 2 weeks, sir.
I think that's reasonable.
Your Honor, if she does not wish a postponement, I will speak in her defense. She has done nothing wrong. She has nothing to fear.
But Miss Purcell, she's got to have a lawyer.
Who are you?
You know who I am, Judge. You've been in my place.
What is your interest in this case?
Well, I gave the lady a job in my saloon after her husband got killed.
And your interest, ma'am?
I wish to defend this young woman if she will permit it.
You have a license to practice in this state?
No, Your Honor. I took my master's degree in law in Connecticut.
Are you sure you know what you're doing, Miss Purcell?
This is serious, you know that.
She is entitled to have someone speak for her now. And if she will let me, I am going to do it. Your Honor, even though I am not licensed in this state, perhaps I can act as amicus curiae.
As friend of the court. I think that's possible. Mrs. McElroy, will you allow Miss Purcell to act in your behalf?
You know you can't afford to make a mistake, or else you'll lose those 3 kids.
Let her alone. I think she can do it.
Mrs. McElroy, please let me try. I know your children, and I know you, and I honestly feel I can defend you as well as anyone.
You go ahead, Miss Purcell. I believe you.
The defendant will permit me to act in her behalf as friend of the court.
Is this your wish, Mrs. McElroy?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Pritchard. What evidence do you have in substantiation of the charges against the defendant?
Plenty, Your Honor. Plenty. We shall prove conclusively that this woman is unfit to live in a law-abiding, God-fearing community, and that she is unfit as a mother to care properly for her children. And we petition this court to place those 3 fatherless children in an institution where they can properly...
I object.
On what grounds?
I object to counsel stating that Mrs. McElroy is unfit this and unfit that, to generalization without proof.
I'm in the process of proving my contention, if it please the court.
Sit down, Miss Purcell.
I call Mrs. Amy Goodhue to the stand.
Raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the true self you got?
I do. And not only does she work in a saloon, but the saloon keeper eats his meals at her house, including breakfasts.
Well, she's a better cook than you are, you old dried-up bed flat.
It was about 8:30 last night. I went over to her house with Mayor Pritchard and Joe Sawyer and Sam Watkins.
And what did you find on the front porch of Mrs. McElroy's house, Councilman Maybank?
Adam Gray and Randy Clayton, both wounded from gunfire. One seriously.
Did you ask Mrs. McElroy to explain their presence there?
Yes, sir, I did. She claimed she didn't know anything about it. Said she had nothing to do with it. But one of them must have come a-courting, or something.
I object, Your Honor. How does he know what they were there for?
Sustained.
That's all, Your Honor.
You may step down.
If a couple of stray coyotes got into a fight in your front yard and killed themselves, that wouldn't prove that you raised coyotes.
Look, I don't know anything about the study of law, but I know there's not a grain of truth in anything these people claim.
Will you kindly let the defendant's counsel defend her?
From where I sit, Mrs. McElroy is a fine young woman, and she has 3 fine young children. Calling her guilty is the same as calling me a liar.
Are you threatening the jury, Mr. Bonner?
No, sir, but I certainly wouldn't like being called a liar.
Your Honor, I would like to proceed now with my defense.
If I hear one more peep out of either one of you, I'll hold you in contempt.
As Mr. Bonner said, none of the slander against Mrs. McElroy has been proved. Oh, but something else has. The institution of motherhood has been held up to contumely and scorn. The claim has been made that Mrs. McElroy is not a proper person or a proper mother. She is a widow. There are many such. Is this a crime that places a woman beyond the pale of Christian charity? What is she guilty of? Bringing 3 fine children into the world, maintaining them by her own industry, with no expense to the community, although it was necessary that she work in your local saloon to do so, not being able to find other employment. How could it be believed that heaven would be angry at her for having children, when to the little done by her toward it, God has been pleased to add his divine skill and admirable workmanship in the intricate formation of their bodies? And crowned it all by furnishing them with rational minds and immortal souls. Such laws as you invoke against her are cruel laws. They're unjust and unfair to nature and to every woman everywhere. Marriage laws were made for the protection of women and children. Does this protection cease when a wife becomes a widow? Women bring life into the world. That is our destiny, the creation of life. And I pray heaven that someday women will have a voice in the conduct of the state as well as in the home.
I think you will make an excellent teacher, Miss Purcell. We need your kind of spirit. And the children you teach will be fortunate to have known you. Inasmuch as the prosecution failed to present any proof of any of the allegations, I instruct you to bring in a verdict of not guilty.
Knowing right from wrong, that's not too difficult. But taking a stand for the right, well, sometimes that takes some doing. That day I rode into Ledge, there was a kind of hysteria in the air, as though a whole town were coming apart at the seams.
With snow, this could be Christmas.
Yeah, they're busy, all right. Well, you might say we was trimming a tree. We're going to have a hanging.
I'm happy over a hanging?
Oh, they're just noisy at the prospect of some excitement. Who are you looking for, mister?
I'm named Bob Cavis. I understand he has a cabin outside of town.
You a friend of Cavis?
I'm a friend.
Well, Bob's took himself a room in town.
About where you see that little knot of men down there.
We're going to have law and no nonsense. Right.
You Sheriff Duncan?
He ain't here. Why do you ask?
I'm looking for a friend of mine, Bob Cavis.
How come you ain't dressed in black?
It's the second time I've asked about Cavis without getting a straight answer. Where is Sheriff Duncan?
Tom Duncan, the best man this town ever had, was shot dead by your friend.
Can't believe that.
Then come to the trial. Maybe that'll convince you.
When is the trial?
About an hour. It ain't proper to hang a man at least to have a trial. Times is civilized.
Pretty soon you'll all be wearing hard collars.
Your friend's through that door. Sleepy gun.
You taken a liking to a cage?
Why not? After 10 years of it, it feels almost like home.
Did you kill Tom Duncan?
No.
Who did?
How should I know? I wasn't even at the cabin.
Tom Duncan wasn't shot at the cabin. He was shot on the trail into town. He had been to your cabin, and a set of footprints followed him out of your cabin. And your rifle was found close by.
You've got it all figured out, ain't you, mister?
The whole town's got it figured out. You've got 5 minutes, stranger, unless you want a place in here yourself.
All right, Bob. Let's have the whole thing.
Look, Vint, ride along. There's nothing you can do.
What does that mean?
I'm tired.
If you didn't do it, you don't have to pay for it.
Don't care much anymore, one way or the other.
You mean you'd let them hang you for a murder you didn't commit?
I didn't do anything at Ellsworth, neither.
Oh, no. Nothing much. You just got drunk with Billy McGill and these boys the night they shot up the bank. You got caught asleep at their camp. Oh, you were lucky. You got 10 years free room and board. Billy and his boys got the rope.
Yeah, I sure had a lot of luck. My wife died the year I was sent away. I got a 12-year-old boy I don't hardly know. Look, Vint, twice. I don't see nothing, I don't hear nothing, I don't do nothing. But the law comes around just the same. Well, they won't be around anymore.
I didn't know you had a boy. Where is he?
Up the cabin, I reckon. Don't worry on him.
What's going to happen to him?
He'll make out. He's a kid. Kids make out.
Oh, sure. Scar on the heart doesn't show.
Boss told me about you.
You don't believe your father did it, do you, Andy?
I don't know. Pa won't even let me see him. All I know is what the kids say in the Everett family. They took me in. They're good, but I don't want to listen to what they say about my father.
Your father didn't kill Sheriff Duncan.
It's hard living on only what you hear. I wish you'd just let me see him.
Your pa didn't do it.
Well, who did?
I don't know. But I'm going to try and find out, and you're going to help me.
Can I, Mr. Bonner? Can I, please?
Sure, boy. But we got to prove it. And we got to prove it legal. You understand?
Yes, sir.
We'll make it a fair fight, you and me.
I wish I could just see him, though.
Give him time, boy. Give him time.
Hey, now, who's going to be the prosecutor? Yeah, that's right. So what? The man that tells why you hang him. Yeah. Now, if it's going to be done legal, we got to have a prosecutor.
That's right.
I had been to Denver, and they have a...
right. We have to have a prosecutor.
Now, sure, who's it going to be?
Why, Frank Holder here. Who else? He's the only one who can pronounce a dang word. Besides that, we all owe him money.
Okay, Frank's prosecutor. Now we're going to need a judge. How about Doc Martin here? He's been to school.
He's a doctor. Besides, he can't see the ground with two looks.
Gentlemen, did I hear a request for my services?
Steady, Doc. The man don't need a boil, Lance. But you might take a look at his neck later.
Well, let's start her off. Okay. Judge Martin, you're finished, sir. Oh. Pete, tell Hyde to bring Cavis in.
Listen to him cackle. The hanging's solemn. No need to be taken on and screaming and drinking.
You're a stripe different, huh?
I'm the hangman. Oh, they don't think much of me. I'm just a little piece of dirt that best roll over or get stepped on. But I've been important. I worked my rope in some of the biggest towns.
Hey, this court is now in session.
Frank, we oughtn't to start now. It's supposed to be a newspaper fella from Cooper City.
This ain't a sideshow, Hyde. Let's try to have some semblance of a trial.
Oh, but we needed some girls, like Justice. I seen her picture once. She's a stand-up, handsome woman.
Come, Cavis. Stand up to the bar. It's liable to be your last chance.
Go on, Mr. Prosecutor.
I'll be brief. Tom Duncan went down to see Bob Cavis. Pike here heard him say he was going. Right, Pike?
That's a fact, Frank. He told me he's...
Cavis wore a jail suit for 10 years down in Kansas. Lawman's got a right to check on the next con.
Tom and Cavis must have quarreled about something. At any rate, Duncan had hardly left the cabin when Cavis ghost him on the trail. The tracks showed it plain. Now, you tell the rest, Ross.
Well, I found Tom dead. Blood was still warm in him. I followed the trail back to the cabin, and there it was. Cavis. Cabin was all tore up, but the rifle was still warm, with an empty shell in the chamber.
I guess that about does it. You want to declare sentence, Judge?
I declare a round of drinks on the house. Yeah! Speed this malefactor on his last journey.
This isn't any trial. It's a drunken farce. This man's innocent.
You think so, stranger?
The law thinks so. He's innocent until proven guilty. You haven't even given him a chance to plead.
What's the verdict, Judge? We want it, and we want it now.
Hang him by the neck tomorrow morning until he's dead.
I don't care if you've done it. Just please let me see it, Pa. You're the one who wants my father dead. You'd like to try that again?
Give me the knife. Give me the knife.
I'm going home. Do as I say, going home. A little bobcat.
Piece of his father's pelt.
You know, we ought to trim his claws.
The boy's wrong. But I don't blame him. Here.
I hate them. Them in their courts. I'd like to...
Kill him?
They deserve it.
Andy, I told you what we did had to be legal.
And what they do, that doesn't have to be illegal. Is that it?
It's what we do that's important.
You know, that's easy to say. But when this thing is finished, you're gonna ride off in your pony. And I'm gonna stay here with the people who killed my father. Now, how do you think I'm gonna feel, Mr. Bonner?
Look, Andy, I know how you feel. But it's the law that counts, not the kind of law they're using. There's more to it. It's come down for hundreds of years. It's all we've got. What we do has to be done the legal way.
Well, what do we do, Mr. Bonner?
I've got some questions. I'm going out and find some answers. Now, Andy, you stay here.
Hello, Sheriff.
What are you doing here?
I want to see my dad.
Says he ain't interested. Don't want to see it.
I know. I still want to see him.
All right, go ahead. You both deserve each other.
What you doing here, boy?
I got something. It's the sheriff's. I slipped it out of his holster while he was in here. I could have shot him, but I figured you'd want to do that.
I see, Karras. Just leave your gun.
Where'd you get this?
It's hides. I sneaked it out of his holster.
Andy, go on home. Go on.
Do like Mr. Bonner says, son. He said he'd have killed Hyde himself, only he thought I'd want to do it.
After that trial, what could he think?
After tomorrow morning, he won't have to think about it.
Just the rest of his life. You give up, and I don't know a better way to tip that boy the wrong way.
What's that supposed to mean?
You're stubborner than a bush steer, and you're feeling sorry for yourself. It takes a tough man to be a father.
How many sons you got, Bonner?
None, I'm sorry to say.
You can have Andy.
What?
Take him, Vint. You can help him.
If you're hung tomorrow morning, I'd be afraid to take him.
All right, Vint. What can I do?
First, do you have any idea who did it?
No.
Well, then give me something to work on. Guess. Think. How about that hangman?
Pike. He ain't got the gravel to kill with a gun. He likes a man blindfolded with his arms tied. Besides, Tom Duncan was his brother. He's just a buzzard circling for the feast.
Then how about Colton?
Owns everything in town but the air. But he hired Tom. Ain't likely he'd want him killed. That Ross Hyde now, I wouldn't introduce him to a cobra.
What did he do before Tom was killed?
Well, he was Tom's deputy. I don't know him well. I heard of him up in the Johnson War. He rode with Tom Horn.
He said when he found you that the cabin was all torn up. Why?
I don't know why. I was out back chopping wood. I heard the shot and I run up to the cabin. It was already tore up. And then Hyde come and took me.
Why would the cabin be ransacked?
Looking for something, maybe.
Was the money from the bank robbery ever found?
Word was that a strong box with 30,000 disappeared. Buried in a canyon, I suppose, with a tribe of Indians hunkered over it. You know how stories build.
And there's always a map. You're the last man left alive in that robbery.
What did I tell you? He's got it on him right there in his belt.
Sheriff Hyde says you or the boy slipped his gun to give it to Cabas.
Don't get nervous. If we were going to use it, we wouldn't have waited for you to call out the home guard. The boy took it, and I took it from him. He had a very strange idea. He didn't want to see his father hung for something he didn't do. Make sense, Calder?
What makes sense, Bonner, is that since you came to Ledge, the boy's dangerous.
And we're not just suggesting this, we're going to tell you.
You take that boy and the both of you right out of this town.
Does he get a chance to say goodbye to his father?
He'll get a chance.
And you tell that kid no more tricks. We'll be watching him.
I'll do that. And you watch. Andy, that little trick you played with a gun bought us 2 tickets south tonight. We've got only one chance to save your father.
What do we do, Mr. Bonner?
It's a slim chance, but we'll have to take it. It's dangerous. It depends on you. Now, we'll need a piece of paper and an old envelope. The older, the better. Now, listen carefully.
Tomorrow morning, Ross. No need to stage the hangar too early.
Bonner! Just hold it right there. All right, go ahead. Come on. All right, give up. Yeah, that's right.
Pa, we're riding out, Mr. Bonner and me.
Together? You two? Good. You got yourself a new pa. Now, you mind what he says?
But he says you didn't do it. That they're killing you for hate. Like they killed that fella in the book.
What book? You know I don't read books.
The church book, Pa. The one we're all living by. The Everetts, the school marm, Frank Coulter, Pike Duncan, and Ross Hyde.
You read that book, son?
No, it's too long and full of queer names. But I learned a little bit of it. They teach it to us in school.
What you learned out of it?
Well, I learned that thou shalt honor thy father and thy mother. And I learned that thou shalt not kill.
Get it over with, kid. We ain't got all night.
I got something for you, Pa. I found it in the cabin.
Thanks, son.
It ain't much. Bye, Pa. In case I don't see you anymore.
Wait a minute. Here, you take this, boy. Open it after tomorrow. May make up to you for some of the things I never give you.
Stop right there. Get your hands up, Bonner. Both hands. High, real high. Now you can turn around.
It ain't Rawhide. It's Pike Duncan.
Come here, boy. Come over here. Hurry up. You're a nice boy. Too bad you ain't gonna get a chance to grow up. Now, I'll take that map.
What map?
The map to the Ellsworth Bank money. Oh, yes. Brother Tom got a confidential wire on it last week from the Ellsworth Marshal. $30,000 in a box. And it's all mine now. That's enough money to make a man grow wide as a mountain and shine like the sun.
And you killed your brother for it.
Well, you're a wise one, ain't you, Bonner?
Shot him in the back.
Yes, I shot him. He caught me going through the cabin looking for it, and he yelled. He yelled at me. He yelled he was ashamed to have me for a brother, and I killed him with Cavis's gun. But not just for the map. I hated Tom Duncan. I hated him. He always got the favors, and I got the scraps. Big. He was big. He was big as Cape Rock. And me down low, cold in the shadow. All right. Now you give me the map.
Give him the map, Andy.
This is blank. This ain't no map. Why, you thieving little...
Springs was kind of a refuge for me. It was a quiet little town in the valley. Jeb Lacey, an old friend of mine, had a booming mercantile business there. Also did double duty as town banker. He always had a job for me when I wanted one.
There you are, Zeke. They're all yours. Hi, Vint. I'll be with you in a minute.
No hurry, Miss Lacey.
That'll be $2 each. Could I give you a hand with those, Zeke?
I can handle it.
That Zeke's a little scrawny, but he's a good citizen.
A little scrawny.
Well, how'd you go today?
Everything's smooth, no trouble.
Good job, as usual.
Now, what's on the slate for tomorrow?
I got a pouch of $3,000 going up to Oroville in the morning.
I'll be here at 6.
Vint, you're looking a little peaked. Maybe you better make that 7.
I haven't stayed in bed till 7 since I was a yearling, Mr. Lacey.
Look, I'm the boss around here. It's an order. 7 o'clock it is. See you then.
You're the boss.
I'll find it if you give me half the chance. Now, do be careful, old boy. It's genuine Morocco, you know.
Look, mister, I got a schedule to make, so don't give me any fancy names.
Well, it's brown leather with gold finishings. Quite good looking, if I do say so myself. It was a going-away gift from my great-uncle Percy Cadwallader. A favorite valise from a favorite great-uncle. Now, I wouldn't want to lose it. Look over there somewhere, won't you?
Is this it?
Ah, you found it, old man. Good for you. Great-uncle Percy simply would have been crushed if I'd lost it. Now, do be careful in handing it down. I say, old boy, is my cravat crooked?
No, I was just waiting to get by.
Oh, I am taking more room than I should. You will forgive me, I'm sure.
Sure.
I say, you seem a decent enough fellow. Could you direct me to the best hotel in town?
This is it. I'm staying here.
Yes, I have noticed accommodations here in Western America are a bit skimpy. But be that as it may, one must make do is my motto.
Sure.
Do you mind if I tag along?
No, come along.
I say, could I trouble you again? Is there a pub anywhere about?
Pub?
Oh, a pub, dear boy, is a place to get a nip of brandy and the like. Something to wash this insufferable western dust out of my throat.
You mean a saloon? Sure, there's one in the hotel here.
Oh, a saloon, is it?
Saloon.
Well, I expect that will have to do. Would you take that one, please? Thank you. say you've been terribly kind, Mr.
Bonner, Vent Bonner.
Oh, my name is Archibald Jarrett, the third. The pleasure is distinctly mine, Mr. Bonner.
Joe, I get any mail?
I say, isn't it a smashing coincidence, Mr. Bonner? I have a Vint in my own family.
Oh?
It's a second or third cousin on my Aunt Desiree's side. Or is it on my great-uncle Percy's? Well, stunning fellow anyway. Wouldn't it be funny if we were related?
That would be funny. Joe! Joe! This man wants a room.
Hold on a minute, Mr. Bonner. Why not allow me to buy you a snifter of brandy? It's amazingly good for the complexion, you know.
I could use a drink.
That's right. After all, where else do we have to go? I'll cheer up this grouchy old man, and then I'll meet you in the bar. Why don't you run on ahead? Now, where do you want me to sign this little book? Thank you.
Bonner! Bonner, you old hound dog, you. Come on over here. Have a drink with me. Hey, bartender, bring over another glass, will you?
Boy, this is the first time I've seen you since Arizona.
Yeah, well, I'm just passing through now. Got to pull out in a short while again. Say, you know, the last time I saw you was that time you had me locked up in the ice house in Phoenix. You know, I almost froze my legs off.
Well, look, Mort, if you wouldn't play jokes on your friends, they wouldn't have to play them back on you. You know why I left you in the ice house? You took half the powder out of my cartridges the afternoon of the turkey shoot. And those boys that bet the $500 on me to win were pretty mad.
Well, I guess those days are gone forever, huh, Vin? It was a mite dangerous, but it sure was fun. Sure is good to see you again.
You gonna leave right away?
Yeah, I'm pulling out in about 10 minutes.
Oh.
Well, now, Vin, I'll be seeing you again in about 2 years, huh? Don't you take any wooden dollars.
I'll take care.
Vint, you'll pay for the drinks, huh?
Same old Mort.
Fascinating. Such dexterity. But forgive me, Mr. Bonner, I've changed the subject, momentarily taken with a bit of your local color. As I remember, we were talking about me. Now, before we go on, may I make one humble request?
Go right ahead.
Please, don't call me a writer. The proper term is journalist.
Oh.
You see, I'm in your country on an assignment for several British journals, doing a series of articles on the American West's common cowboy.
Common cowboy? Well, I'm amazed you chose this section. Nothing very exciting happens around here.
Oh, but that's where you're wrong. You see, a true journalist always finds something to write about.
Why did you come to Burning Springs?
Oh, I hate to admit it, Mr. Bonner. It was the name that intrigued me. Burning Springs. You know, I can't wait to see them.
Matter of fact, I'd like to see them myself.
How about another?
I can take a short one.
Bartender, 2 of the same. You know, this colonial brandy is amazingly good.
Yeah, pretty good.
I'm afraid I've been frightfully selfish, old boy. My great-uncle Percy, may he rest in peace, tried admirably to break me of the habit of always talking about myself. Looks like I've gone and done it again. Tell me, Mr. Bonner, what sort of work do you do?
Oh, nothing much. I ride for Lacey's Mercantile. I deliver money.
Oh, sounds terribly exciting.
Matter of fact, it's kind of dull, but I like it.
Oh, you're being terribly modest. How about my riding one trip with you on your job? For research, it would make smashingly good reading.
Wouldn't do any harm. Can you ride?
Oh, now you're joking, old boy. I was equestrian leader at my prep school for 2 years running. Where I come from, that's a jolly good job of work.
All right, tomorrow. That too soon?
Oh, perfect. Shall we drink to our adventure together? To the morrow.
So the dude's a writer.
That's right, old man, but what...
Well, then how come I never heard of you?
I do say, old boy, are you sure you know how to read?
All right, cowboy, on your way.
You just stay out of this common cowboy.
It's all right, Mr. Bonner. Let the gentleman proceed. He seems to want some sort of satisfaction.
Mr. Jarrett, suppose we have something to eat.
I never did like dudes in general, and you in particular.
Now, that is a shame. Do you know, sir, you are uncouth.
Oh, I ain't good. I'm as good as you are.
much, Mr. Bonner, but it really wasn't necessary for you to intercede. You see, one must always have the means to defend oneself if the occasion should arise. Now, shall we have a bite of supper? Exercise always did give me an appetite.
I see. Well, sit down right over here.
Thank you.
You know, for a stranger in our country, you take care of yourself pretty well.
Oh, think nothing of it, old boy. Think nothing of it at all. Now, what's on the menu for tonight?
Buffalo steaks, I think.
Oh, by Jove, great Uncle Percy would have loved that. Buffalo steak.
What are you doing?
Oh, taking notes, of course. I don't want to forget a thing. I have a wretched memory. Buffalo steaks. By Jove, what luck. Good morning, Mr. Bonner. Looking for me, I trust.
Matter of fact, I was.
Shall we go?
Sure. Morning, Mr. Lacey.
Oh, hi, Vic. You all ready to go?
All ready. This is Mr. Jared. He's a friend of mine.
Oh, what's your pleasure, Mr. Jared? Chewing tobacco?
Oh, no, I'm afraid not.
Mr. Jared is a writer, a journalist from England. He's doing some research on the West. I told him I was taking some money to Arlville today.
Vince's been kind enough to let me come along.
If it's all right with you, Mr. Lacey.
Well, I guess so. There's over $3,000 in this pouch. A little company might come in handy.
$3,000 seems a frightful sum to leave lying about.
That's why I'm sending it up to Orville. They got a good, strong bank up there. And with Vint taking it, I know it'll get there.
You have a wonderful faith in human nature, Mr. Lacey. I must remember that.
Let's move.
$3,000.
Harlan? Got my horse?
There he is, Mr. Bonner. He's all ready for you.
Good. Bring that horse for Mr. Jared out, too.
We got one that's rested up real good, sir.
I say, that's a cumbersome-looking contraption. You don't suppose they'd have an English saddle anywhere about?
Oh, I haven't heard of an English saddle in this territory.
Here he is right here, sir.
No, I suppose they don't have one. Do you suppose you could give me a leg up English style?
Let's try anything once. How do you go about it?
Just take my ankle.
Oh?
Thank you. I say, what a frightful waste of leather.
Yeah, I suppose so.
I do believe we're being followed.
Well, there's a bend up ahead. Straight stretch afterwards. We'll lose them there.
Do you suppose they could be after the money?
We aren't going to wait around and ask them. Come on.
Hold it! If I was you, I'd look around before I get any ID. If you behave yourself, there'll be no need for guns. Now, unbuckle that belt real easy and let it drop. Get down. Not you, Fancy. You'll be going with us.
I don't understand.
You will. All right, off with your pants and shirt.
What is this?
Please don't argue, friend. It's not courtesy in front of guests. Hurry it up.
Man just don't look right without his hat.
All right. Drink fancy over here. Have a nice stroll, mister.
This is the biggest joke of the century. I can just see him walking into town, the underwear kid, wearing boots and hat and long johns.
I'd say your plan has been a smashing success.
A smashing success. You were perfect, Jared. What would your Uncle Percy say if he saw you now, huh?
Please, Mr. Askins, my great-uncle Percy is no laughing matter. Nevertheless, I dare say he would be quite proud.
What about the money, boss? Oh, we take it back.
I'd hate to be a wet blanket and all that, old man. But despite the fact that you're an old friend of Vint Bonner's, he's going to be very happy if he can tear you to pieces.
Thank you for the warning, Jared. But you know, I couldn't have pulled this off without your help. I wouldn't be surprised if he was saving a few licks for the English. Well, come on, fellas, we better get back to town.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
How about it, Jim? All there?
Oh, it seems to be. But now, what is all this nonsense, and where's Vint? Well, you see, Vint and me are old friends. We used to work the range together, and we sort of got in the habit of working a practical joke on each other now and then. And you, Jared, were you in on this too?
Oh, I wouldn't have missed it at any cost. It was a beautiful, delightful scheme. I do believe it has classic possibilities.
You know, Jared and I arranged the whole thing.
I saw Vince's horse over at the stable. Now how's he going to get back?
He should be walking in at any moment.
Yeah, in his underwear.
Oh, no.
Mr. Lacey, I was robbed.
Mr. Askins here brought the money in, Vince.
4 men. They had 2 shotguns and 2... Mr. Who?
Mort Askins here. He says he's an old friend of yours. He planned the whole thing. Now, don't be a bad sport, Vint. I can remember the time you had me locked up in that slaughterhouse in Kansas City overnight. Those hogs got a little potent before the night was over.
Who are you, mister?
Oh, it's me, Mort. You gotta remember. What's the matter with you, Vint? Can't you take a joke anymore? You gotta admit it was a pretty good one. Come on inside and get your clothes.
I don't know you from Adam. All I know is if you brought that money in, you had something to do with a robbery. That's up to the sheriff here.
Who's that English dude, anyway?
The money. I left the money right here.
Are you sure?
This, gentlemen, is what I believe you call a holdup. Will you join your friends, Mr. Bonner? I hope you're not as foolish a man as you look right now. Don't worry, Mr. Lacey. I shall take very good care of your money. Now, gentlemen, I would hate to be the cause of any violence. Would you kindly remove your guns and place them somewhere out of reach?
The joke's over, Jared. We've had our laugh.
The guns! What a warped sense of humor you have, Mr. Askins. Haven't you noticed? The joke's just begun. And I really am a very excellent shot, even with this cumbersome weapon. I hope you don't make me prove it.
Oh, just a minute.
This time, I only took a tuck in your arm. Now, a word of warning to all of you, my friends. I'm no amateur at this sort of thing. My great-uncle Percy taught me the trade quite well. But I have made some unfortunate mistakes, which puts me in a rather difficult position. You see, I have 2 previous convictions in Virginia and 1 in a forlorn place called Boston. I have no intention of getting another. As I understand, they're quite strict here in America with the 4th offender. Isn't that right, Sheriff? Now, don't be such a bore, Sheriff. It isn't as if I were taking any of your money. You have no reason to be sullen.
Believe me, Vint, I didn't know what he was.
You sure pick up with the darndest friends.
That is a shame. And I thought he was such a good judge of human nature. And to shoot him with his own gun. I must enlist your aid once more, Mr. Bonner. I'm sure you won't mind this last time.
What about Lacey?
An admirable thought. He is not that badly hurt that he couldn't wait a moment while I make an appropriate exit. Would you kindly incapacitate our friends? You must admit it would save further unpleasantries. I do so detest bloodletting. Would you gentlemen mind standing back to back? Mr. Bonner, must I remind you that I shall inspect your handiwork? Surely an accomplished cowboy like you can do better than that. That's better. Mr. Askins, I noticed today that your horse seems to be stronger than mine. I'm sure you won't mind the trade.
How far do you think you'll get?
Mexico, Canada, China, the South Seas. Possibilities are infinite when one has money. After you, Mr. Bonner. And remember, this gun will be trained on you every moment. One more favor, Mr. Bonner, and I'll trouble you no longer. You'll give me a leg up as you did before. And, Mr. Bonner, I trust you will be discreet and attempt no heroics. I would so dislike putting an unsightly hole through your head. Now make it snappy, old boy. My time for goodbyes has just been slashed to the bone. The reins, please.
How much do you suppose he could get?
Well, after all, he did commit the robbery.
And he instigated the whole thing, too.
Well, now, wait a minute, Vint.
Let me see. Attempted robbery. That's 5 years.
Oh, 5.
Possession of stolen goods. Another 2 years, maybe.
7.
Oh, that's 7.
Harboring a known fugitive. 3 more years.
Oh,
10 years?
Could amount to a tidy sum.
No, look here, Sheriff. You listen to me. I don't know that. I never had it. This fellow, I
Chap, have you no consideration at all? After all, we were caught rather red-handed, as the saying goes.
You'll stay out of this.
I find it hard to believe that he's the criminal type.
Some men start late in life, you know. We still got to hold him till a circuit judge gets here next month.
Mom, Vince, you can't leave me alone in this jail.
See what you mean. True criminal face, and the temper to match.
Yeah, well, don't worry. We know how to take care of his kind.
I say, Sheriff, is there any way I can get some peace and quiet in here?
Do you think your Uncle Percy will bail you out?
You couldn't very well do that, old boy. Dead, you know. Hanged him 8 years ago in London for murder. Messy old man. Always used the razor. Oh, well.
Well, Mort. Goodbye.
Oh, Vin.
I always thought I was a pretty good judge of people. Thought I'd seen most every kind of crook, too. That is, until I met some of the strange new residents of a town called Happy Hollow. I'd ridden across one state and a territory to help Aldrich Newton celebrate 20 years in newspapering. Happy Hollow didn't look so very happy. And old Newt's newspaper, the Happy Hollow Harbinger, didn't look so good either.
Hello, Vince. Am I glad to see you?
What in the world happened?
You're just in time for the wake.
Well, is this the way you celebrate 20 years of newspaper?
Friend, I just crusaded myself right out of business.
Tell me about it.
Remember Blair Weeks?
Sure, I remember him. He used to do all his arguing with a six-shooter.
Oh, he's come up in the world. Even as a pair of hired guns working for him. Yeah, he's got this town right in the palm of his hand.
Well, how about you? Anybody on your side? The sheriff? The mayor?
The sheriff? The mayor? You take a mayor with expensive taste, he needs a mansion more than we need a schoolhouse. You take a sheriff with an appetite like a horse, he needs a hotel more than we need a jail. And you take a judge who fights the roulette table by the hour, he needs a gambling house more than we need a church.
Who's doing the pay?
Costs the people $5,000. That's why I went in the crusade.
Anyone backing you up?
Oh, the town's in my side, all right, but when the mayor hired Blair Weeks to see him through the election, the whole town ducked for cover.
When is the election?
Took place last week. Got themselves re-elected by due process of crime. Thought I had him cornered last Friday. I printed a letter from the governor thanking the Harbinger for reporting the grave state of affairs here in Happy Hollow and promising to send a special investigator.
When is he due in?
He isn't. Governor didn't write the letter. I did. Now I'm out of business.
I helped you put old Horace Wheeler together here, remember?
Yeah, you was just a youngster.
And I don't want to see it shut up. Any more than I want to see you shut up.
Won't be easy, Vint.
You used to tell me that nothing good ever comes easy, remember?
Vint, I have a feeling we might hold that celebration after all.
Let's get this place straightened up.
I'm telling you, it was Bent Bonner. I know how he looks and I know how he shoots.
Well, the trouble with our sheriff is, ever since old Newt pulled his bluff about that special investigator coming down here from the Capitol...
How do you know it was a bluff? Like I was saying before the judge interrupted us, Bent Bonner's a sight more to worry about than any special investigator.
Blair Weeks has 2 hole cards. Bonner's got none.
Go fetch Bonner.
You mean Blair Weeks, don't you?
No, you fool, Bonner. Now go on.
You know, if you was behind the roulette wheel, I'd say you were fixing for a crooked spin.
I sure am. I'm hiring Bonner to get rid of Blair Weeks for me.
Well, what for?
Because I want my town back.
Oh, so. So if Bonner does win out, he'll move right in like Blair did.
That's where you're wrong. Bonner's got an itchy saddle. He can't stand to be tied down anywhere.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, daughter.
You're perspiring again. Now, has somebody been making you nervous?
Oh, go upstairs. I'm expecting a visitor.
A man?
What did you think, a horse?
I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
Oh, I'm sorry, darling. I'm very upset. You'll have to stay out of his sight.
You know, it might just as well be a horse, after all.
The way old Newt accepted the mayor's invite for me, I knew he must have something up his sleeve. Trouble was, I didn't know what. Only thing I could do was kind of feel my way through the situation.
I'm Mayor Love, Mr. Bonner. Welcome to Happy Hollow.
Thank you. I've already been welcomed.
Well, come on in. Come on in. Oh, Judge Adams, I want you to meet Vink Bonner.
Well, how are you?
Hello, Judge.
Has Newton told you about us?
Oh, foul slander. Open and shut case or open and shut case.
I heard about you boys up at the Capitol.
How are things at the Capitol, Mr. Bonner?
Rena, we're talking business.
I know. Go to your room and don't interrupt.
Well, getting back to old Newt.
He thinks we're in league with one Blair Weeks and his gunman.
When the truth of the matter is, we have to submit to them or they'd ravage our town.
Oh, we put up with a lot.
You just give me one good deputy, like yourself, and I'd show 'em who's boss around here.
Or even a marshal of Mr. Bonner's caliber.
The job pays better.
Yes, and a marshal of Mr. Bonner's caliber could name his own price.
And rate a bonus, maybe.
I see. Well, it sounds like a job for a good man. I've got one.
Tell Blair it's got to look like a personal quarrel. I don't want Bonner's death traced to me.
If only he'd have seen things our way.
Yes, he seems so nice. Coming from the Capitol and all.
Well, he isn't nice.
The Capitol? That's why he went direct to Aldrich Newton. He's the special investigator.
The special investigator?
Well, I still think he's nice.
He's come back.
Rena, upstairs. Oh, it's you.
We thought you was Vink Bonner coming back.
He's the special investigator.
So that's what he was doing at the Harbinger, huh? We'll have to take care of him.
But you killed Bonner, and the cavalry hit Happy Hollow like a swarm of locusts.
That's right.
Oh, will you stop digging our graves? We're a long way from being dead.
What do you got in mind?
My daughter.
Serena? No, you don't.
It's only temporary until we've got Bonner hooked.
You, wouldn't have said the same thing about me?
Now, look, you can't kill a special investigator and get away with it. And if we let him investigate, we're sunk. Rena's my only chance.
Why not bribe him?
Not until Rena softened him up.
All right, we'll try it.
Then here's the play. Now, first, you've got to make him think that he scared you out of town.
Bonner?
Yes. Then circle back here and hide in my cellar.
Why?
Well, because I want you near. You'll know what's going on.
I'll buy it. But only until noon tomorrow.
That's mighty short rope.
10 minutes after 12, and it'll be like the judge said. You wish the cavalry had come.
the weight of the world right off my shoulders.
What do you suppose made Blair Weeks and his men leave town?
Why, he saw Vint Bonner and got scared. It's that simple.
There's Bonner himself.
Oh, Happy Hollow owes you a vote of thanks, Mr. Bonner.
Well, that jail is as broken down as your office.
Yep, you can break out of one as easy as you can break into the other.
Now, I know what you're thinking, but with Blair Weeks gone, I can talk freely.
I'm not interested.
Mayor's entitled to respect, Vint.
That's right nice of you, Newt.
Will you come to my house alone?
Of course he will.
Judge Adams wanted to see you.
Oh, he did, eh? I'll be with you directly, Mr. Bonner. Now, you make yourself right at home.
Why, it's Mr. Bonner. Hello. I'm Serena. Papa said I could be very friendly with you. Would you like to kiss my hand?
Afraid I'm not the type.
Or whatever type you are. I like it. Don't you think I'm pretty?
Yes, you're pretty.
I think that all girls should be soft and nice. All over. Don't you? None of my ribs show. Sit down. I'm going to be very honest with you. I don't like this town, and I'd like to get away, but, well, it's so difficult for a single girl and all.
Well, while you're talking, let's be completely honest. I don't like the town either. But your father made it what it is. Why? And where do you fit in?
Do you have any money?
Money? No, I don't.
Oh, that's too bad. But I suppose some men are like that. I mean, until they find the right girl.
Why, maybe you're right.
Well, you two getting acquainted, I see.
Papa, Mr. Bonner hasn't a cent to his name.
Look, Mayor, I'm going to be frank with you. You collected money for a new jail.
We did.
And a schoolhouse.
Just what our town needs.
And a church.
Well, Blair Weeks absconded with the funds.
That's right. Every blasted cent.
You say Mr. Bonner has no money?
He just told me so himself.
Now, gentlemen, did you ever hear of such a thing? A man of influence without money?
Well, no.
Well, do something about it. Oh, Rena, weren't you and Mr. Bonner going for a ride?
Nobody said anything about it.
He means he doesn't like me.
But I think it might be a very nice idea.
Oh, I think it would be a lovely idea.
Now, don't you worry about hurrying back, dear. I know that you're in very good hands.
Oh, I'm going to take you to the most beautiful, romantic spot you've ever seen.
Hey! Greatest piece of luck I ever saw. 8 sevens in a row. And it's yours, Bonner. All yours.
Are you loco?
But I won it for you. 1,000 cash.
$1,000?
Yes.
1,000 measly dollars.
I'll just double that for you.
Rena goes only to a man of wealth and influence.
Well, it seems as how Mr. Bonner has a mind of both.
Especially influence.
I see what you mean. That begins to seem possible. You might call it up front.
Oh, no. Don't even think such a thing.
Shall we go, Serena?
Special investigators sure come high.
Blair?
It's working.
That daughter of yours, she's got a heart like a weather vane.
Now, you know as well as I do that she's doing this under orders.
She don't act to me like she's making any sacrifices.
We'll play it my way as long as I'm in charge around here.
All right, you're in charge around here. Till noon tomorrow.
Wait a minute. Serena, we were talking about being honest back at your house.
Yes.
Tell me something. Do you like the life that you and your father lead?
No. I mean, all those men that he makes me be nice to and everything. That's why I want to leave. I could go anywhere with a man like you, Vint.
Or, Blair Weeks?
No.
Tell me about Blair Weeks.
I could tell an awful lot about Blair Weeks. To the man who'd take me away from here.
I see.
Almost 9. You'd think she'd show a little consideration.
Wait till I get my hands on her and him.
Now, just be patient.
I'm running out of patience.
This doesn't mean that Rita ran out on us. There, she didn't.
Rena.
Is he hooked?
Got him primed to leave town?
Well, where is he? What did he say? Did he promise anything? Well, Rena, speak to me.
She didn't, huh? You acting a mite hasty, Newt? Now, sit down here. I got a few things to tell you.
I'd feel a sight better if you'd let me call in some men I can trust to back you up.
No, Newt. We'll do it my way.
What kind of talk is that? You don't know where Bonner is. Look, you've got 1 hour and a half to get him out of town.
I tell you, he'll be along directly. Now, it's all fixed. Rena and I are taking the noon stage to the Capitol. Bonner's got to come along.
What do you mean, got it?
Well, because he's human.
Vince, you naughty boy. Now, where have you been? Now, sit down.
That floor up there is a regular sounding board.
That's fine. That's fine. So you keep talking good and loud or I'll know the double cross is on. You're
the shrewdest critter this side of Dodge.
I am?
Yes, sir. You made yourself a fortune overnight.
And there it is.
Well, I guess I am kind of smart at that.
Well, Vince, how are you?
Well, as a matter of fact, I never felt better in my life.
Me too. In fact, I feel so good that I'm going to join you two lovebirds on the noon stage.
Oh, I'm afraid that'll be kind of impossible now.
Oh, but Vince, you promised me last... No, you can't go back on your word.
Now, dear, I'm not backing out on anything, but I've taken a look around your town, and Happy Hollow seems to me like a nice place to settle down in.
Settle down? Here?
You can't do that to us.
But Vince, you're much too big for Happy Hollow.
Oh, I can't go back to the capital, not with all this money.
Well, then go somewhere else.
Well, I like it here. Besides, it was big enough for Blair Weeks, it's big enough for me. And Rena's been telling me all about it.
Rena.
Well, I don't see what difference it makes. It's all in the family, anyway.
No objections, I hope.
I object.
Me too.
Serena, how could you do this to me?
Because Vint and I are in love with each other.
He can hear every word you say.
Get him up.
Get down there.
Get over there.
Get down.
Down.
Do you know who's in the cellar?
I warned them.
Well, you know you're asking for a showdown, don't you? Well, it's 3 against 1. This isn't any of my fight.
I never thought you were a coward.
Both of you, get out of here.
Do you realize what it means to double-cross Blair Weeks?
Yes, Your Honor. That's what it means, Your Honor. Serena, get out.
I'm not leaving.
I'd just as soon shoot right through that no-good double-crosser. I'm going to start shooting at the count of 3. 1, 2.
The town is ours now, Vint. We don't have to share it with anybody else. It belongs to us.
Town belongs to itself, to the people in it. Folks like yourself, your father, you're through.
Well, I could change.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry about your father. I thought Blair'd come gunning for me. About your changing, you've got a whole lifetime to find out. Took the town a little while to recover, but old Newt made a very good mayor. And my bribe money went quite a ways toward the new schoolhouse and the jail, not to mention the church. Serena, I heard that she'd applied for a job as a school teacher. Didn't fit somehow.
Xin chào mọi người. Ở video hôm trước mình đã hướng dẫn mọi người móc đến hàng móc thứ 2 của móc khóa gấu 2 màu. Và đến với video hôm nay mình sẽ tiếp tục hướng dẫn mọi người thực hiện tiếp hàng móc này nha. Ở video trước mình đang móc dở mũi tăng thứ 2 của hàng móc thứ 3. Tiếp theo mình sẽ móc nốt tiếp hàng móc này. Mình sẽ móc với công thức là một đôi một tăng. Lặp lại khi đi hết nửa vòng màu hồng nha. Móc đến đây mình sẽ đổi màu len. Với phần len màu trắng thì mình cũng sẽ móc tương tự. Với công thức là một đơn một tăng. Sau khi móc xong hàng móc thứ 3 này, mình sẽ móc một mũi trượt. Sau đó mình đổi sang lên màu hồng và lên một bính. Đến với hàng móc thứ 4, trước tiên mình sẽ móc một mũi móc đơn. Một mũi móc đơn nữa. Và tiếp theo là một mũi móc tăng. Mình sẽ lặp lại công thức 2 đơn 1 tăng ở hàng móc này. Cứ 2 mũi móc đơn thì mình sẽ lại móc một mũi móc tăng. Đến đây mình sẽ đổi sang len trắng. Sau đó tiếp tục móc với công thức 2 đơn 1 tăng. Thứ 2 mũi móc đơn thì mình sẽ lại móc một mũi móc tăng. Khi móc mình sẽ vừa móc vừa nẹp len màu hồng ở đằng sau nha. Sau khi móc xong, mình sẽ móc mũi trượt để kết thúc hàng. Như vậy là mình đã móc xong hàng móc thứ 4 rồi nha.